Man, that stuff stinks. But I was surprised to see how much of this there was variations compared to this one. Welcome to the Rusty Garage in Homestead. My name is Mike. Today we're going to talk about some two-stroke oils, different ways to measure them, and some oils that you may or may not want to run in your two-strokes. Alright, so there is multiple ways of measuring out two-stroke oils. You've got pre-mixed jugs like this one. This one does a gallon of gas. You've got, on some containers, you've got a measuring deal here on the side. Right ratio cups, I've used these for years. They work great. And also like a glass beaker. I use these most of the time anymore. I've got a few different ones. I've got some tall ones. We're going to compare some oil dilutions here coming up soon. But this is mainly what I use whenever I mix up two-stroke gas. And I use this, which I found this online. This is from Amsoil, but it is a mixing ratio, 1 gallon, 2 gallon, 2.5 and 5 gallons, and the ratio that you want to run. Most of the time I like running 40-to-1. So 2 gallons is going to be 6.4 ounces to fill up this jug. But things like this, I don't know, it being laminated, it can float around the shop here. It's not going to get hurt, but I just stick it up on the wall, and whenever I need it, or need to reference it. But I mean, you don't have to use this. You can Google it. There's all sorts of different websites and links that'll tell you how many ounces of oil per gallon of gas for what ratio you want to run. I just like having a paper copy here in the shop, so if it's raining out because I don't get good cell service in here, I don't have to go outside to look on the internet. So several of these oils that are here in front of you are because of, I'm sure you guys have seen or heard of Richard Flagg and seen some of his oil testing videos. That's where the Schaefers came from. Been running it, been happy with it. It does leave a little tackiness out on the muffler for anything that blows out of it. And this is actually a boat oil. They make other two-stroke oils that would be more for this, but I know I've seen Richard talk about this TCW3 oil. He's ran it for a lot of years and had good results with it. I have had a viewer mention in a comment before that you shouldn't ever run water-cooled two-stroke oil in your air-cooled two-stroke engine, so I don't know. I don't know if it really matters that much. Y'all let me know. I've had decent luck with it. Another oil that I've been running is the Honda HP2. This stuff, I like it. It seems to do pretty good. Haven't really noticed the tackiness that I get out of this one, so I don't know if that's a better thing for it. It's doing a cleaner burn or what, but so far it does pretty good. Another oil that I want to try that I haven't yet is some Bel-Ray. Haven't had the opportunity to get any bought to give it a try. Another oil that we have ran for a lot of years, used to, not anymore, is this Still HP Ultra oil, silver bottle. This stuff, I don't know. Every time we'd buy a trimmer or a new chainsaw or anything like that, you know, they'd give you the sales pitch. So you buy this oil and run it, we'll double your warranty. Well, I don't know. I don't run that stuff anymore. That's mainly after watching Richard Flagg's testing videos. That stuff, that's probably the worst oil that's out there on the market. So not a fan. He tested every two-stroke oil, Husqvarna, Still, Echo. I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen. If you haven't, you should look them up. But of all the two-stroke oils, Echo Red Armor was the best one as far as those go. Then you get into like motorcycle oils and stuff like that. Those ones do a real good job as well. Probably a little better than the actual two-stroke oils. But I am out of two-stroke gas, so we're needing to get some mixed up. I've never tried the Echo Red Armor, so I've been wanting to try it. So that's what we're going to mix up in this one today. But there's different ways of doing this, and I just kind of want to show you the way I do it. So we're going to be looking for 6.4 ounces. So there's pull the grease rags out. There is 6, 6.5, 7. This has got all the halves on it. So that's what we'll do. This one only goes up to 4 ounces. That's why I normally use the bigger one. But you could use this. It is a tighter scale. You got 3 1/4, 3 1/2, 3 3/4. So you can get close, but still we're looking for 6.4. More likely I'm going to do 6.5 and call it a day. So that's what we're going to shoot for on this one. with this oil, but I'm curious. This has 80 milliliters and 100 milliliters, and 2.6 and 3.2 up here on the front. So let's see what it says. Okay, so this wants you to mix 2.6 ounces of Red Armor for every 1 gallon of gas, and that's going to leave you with a 50-to-1 mixing ratio, which, looking at this, let's see, 1 gallon of gas, 50-to-1, 2.6 right there. So we're not doing 50-to-1, we're going to do 40-to-1. So that would be 2.8 or 3.2 if you're wanting 1 gallon of gas. So I don't know. Y'all, if I can remember where I found this, I'll try to leave a link to it down in the description. But just look up AMSOIL ratio chart and you'll find it. So I am curious to see how accurate this is. I'm going to go ahead and fill this up to 3.2, and then I'm going to dump it in here, and let's see where we land. 3.2, I mean, we're going to be a little above the 3 ounce mark on that one. And then we're going to do the same thing and put it in this right ratio cup, which this has even numbers on it. So you've got 2 ounces, 4, 6. So 3.2, we're going to be looking for kind of in the middle. But you could also use the actual ratio side of it as well. Okay, so I think the more accurate side is going to be the actual gallon side. There's 1, 1.5, 2, and 2.5, and we're going to be looking, if we fill that up, that's going to be 50-to-1. So we're going to be looking for the oil to get clear up to here on there. This thing goes from 70-to-1, 60-to-1, all the way up, 36-to-1, 32, 28, 24, goes all the way up to 8-to-1. So really, really rich ratio. So that's what we're going to do just to see how accurate is this bottle compared to 2 other bottles or 2 other measuring devices. So let's see. Let me make sure these things are clean, because whatever I don't use, I'm dumping back into that jug so we can use it. And normally, let me go get some. I normally use brake clean to clean these things out, because you do not want to leave an oil film in there. That's just asking for a bunch of dust to get inside of it. Okay. Okay, now we'll get this wiped out nice and clean. And get this one wiped out. Okay, so let's get this thing open. Again, we're going to go to 3.2 ounces. Fill it up in our glass beaker here. And then 50-to-1 here, which again is 3.2 ounces. So I've never ran Echo Red Armor oil. I've been wanting to for a while. Tested it out. I'm sure it's good. There's a lot of good oils out there. I don't think you're gonna go wrong with most of them, as long as you don't run this one. That one's pretty much a no-go. You can mix that stuff up in your oil used to burn brush piles with. That's about as good as its use is. What kind of oils do y'all run in your 2-strokes? Are you running 2-stroke type oil, or are you running motorcycle oil? Whatever's cheap, whatever you can get a hold of. Are any of you running Still Ultra? Or have any of you stopped using Still Ultra and started using something else? Leave a comment and let us know. But I'm curious to see how well this is going to work out. So we're shooting for 3.2 ounces. Okay. So let's set this down. See if y'all can see here. We are right on the 3.2 ounce line. So we're looking to be a little over 3. So here's 3, 3.5. So not quite in the middle of those 2 lines. But let's see what we got. Yeah, we're still dripping. I don't think we're going to get all the way there. So you can see that thing is pretty much empty, not much hanging in there. And see our level here. We are right below the 3 ounce mark on this. So we're a little short from where we need to be based on that measurement right there. So let's fill this up again to 3.2, which should be 50-to-1. And we'll be looking for that mark right here. You guys can see it. 50 to 1. So let's try that again, see what we come up with. Okay, well, in the glass beaker, you guys seen right there, you could almost call it on the line, but it's hard to get the camera to look at it. But sitting there not moving on the table, this table is level, it is just right under that 3 ounce mark. Good to know. This one, that one's right at it too. Okay. Okay, so you guys can see here, again, right at the 3.2. We're going to dump it in here, see what we come up with, see if we can get to that 50 to 1 mark on the ratio cup. Okay, same deal. That thing is empty. It was on 3.2. And where are we at now? We are actually, you guys can see that. That's 44 to 1. 50 to 1's clear down here. That's 3.2 ounces. So which one's right? Is that less or is that over? Or is that one right? We're going to do it one more time. I'm going to use this smaller beaker. All the measurements on it. We're going to be shooting for 3.2. So there's 3 ounces. There's 3 1/4 right there. So we should be up here, not quite to the 3.14 or 3 1/4, but close to it. So did you all realize there was so many discrepancies in oil measuring? We've got 3.2 ounces on this both times, and we've got basically 3 ounces in the smaller beaker, and I don't know the ounces in the other one. Also, while we're on this one, I just forgot, we can look at the ounces on the other side. So you see, we are right at 44 to 1 on this. So let's move this thing around. That's your pints, there's your cc's. There's 2 ounces, and there's 4 ounces. And that is almost there in the middle. So you could call that 3, maybe a little over. I don't know. As it goes down, the graduations get more distance in between them than you do up through here because it's wider going down to smaller. But that's probably close to 3 ounces or a little over. Okay, and this one, clean it out real quick too. Does that much oil variation, if that was actually accurate, is that really going to matter that much? Okay, we're shooting for right up around here on the 3.14. You can see we are right up at 3.2. So let's dump this in here. Okay, that empty again. And this looks like again, if that will focus, your 3 ounce mark is right here, and we're sitting just right below it on this one. So that's the same as we were getting on this one. Right below 3 ounces, right below 3 ounces. We have tested this out on 3 different containers. The 2 glass ones, this again showing 3.2 ounces on Echo's jug. Both of these are right under the 3 ounce mark. This one is probably close to the 3 ounce mark is what it looks like. There's not a 3 ounce mark on it, but that should be 50 to 1 ratio per the directions on this and the quantity on this. 3.2, 40 to 1. Wait a second, 3.2. I said 2.6. 2.6, 3.2. Okay, again, I'm half confused. 2.6 ounces for 50 to 1. That would have been the lower mark. We filled to the upper mark, which was 3.2 ounces. So for a gallon of gas, 3.2 ounces would have been 40 to 1. So that's what we were shooting for, roughly. This was a little light for 40 to 1, and both of these are a little light for 40 to 1, being less than 3 ounces. Which one's right? Which one would you put your money on that is the proper ratio? But it is close. I mean, you guys can see on the ratio cup here that it is 44 to 1. Not awful, but it's still off. This Echo Red Armor actually stinks. It maybe it's just me, but it almost smells like fish to a point. That's kind of odd to say. We're gonna go ahead and use this since we've already got half the oil dumped out of everything. So I'm gonna go ahead and dump this in here. We're looking for the 2-gallon ratio to get us up to the 40 to 1. And I can tell here that is short still. So we'll just add a little more to it, and then I'll swish a little bit of gas out. Okay, well that would make sense if it is a little short on this to be short on this, because everything from what I can see has been a little low for where it should be. Stuff is nice and red. Y'all leave a comment which one's accurate. This showing 3.2 really makes me think it's not 3.2 on this. I would suspect maybe the ratio cup is the right one, or these. I think they're all close because none of these went to 3.2 ounces like this said. It was all less than 3, which would make sense of why we're low on our mixture right there. I just put grease rags in these just to help keep some of the dust out of it. But you guys can see we're shooting for 40 to 1. And we are still, with that first one we dumped in there, we were right up on the 44 to 1 mark on the 1-gallon mixture over here. Now we're mixing 2 gallons up. Same deal. We're right there on the 44 to 1 mark, and we want to be right up here on the 40 to 1 mark. So we're going to add just a little bit more oil to this. Get us up to that 40 to 1. Okay. Man, that stuff stinks. I never noticed the oil to smell that bad before. I feel more confident that we're on 40 to 1 now. Is that big of a difference to be, oh, that would have been 3 ounces on each one of those, 3.2, so almost half an ounce off? Probably not. Probably ain't gonna make that big a difference. But still, I like for everything to be as accurate as possible whenever I'm mixing this stuff up. And my suspicion right now is that Red Armor bottle is not the most accurate. I like to try to get as much product out of these when I'm mixing it up. Just use some of the gas that came out of it. Just kind of sloshing the gas back and forth to clean out the right ratio cup. And it is clean, no more red. So the only thing we need to do here is make sure we shake this up and mix it up real good. All right, everyone. Again, I just wanted to test this out, see how accurate some of this stuff was. I think maybe a scale would probably be the most accurate once you established how much 3.2 ounces actually weighs. But the difficult thing is that's going to be different from oil to oil. More than likely, if you measure it out in grams, it's going to be different. So, or I don't know, maybe use the scale as far as ounces go as well, and see how accurate that is. But I was surprised to see how much of this there was variations compared to this one. Just for my future reference, I'm probably going to go ahead and use these or this, just because we're going to get more oil measuring to our 3.2 or whatever we're mixing on both of these versus what we would off of this. I think the 44 to 1 that stuff was coming out to, based on this would probably just fine in our saw. But I like running 4-dude ones, so that's what we're going to do. But everyone, hopefully you found something in this video informational. If you did, give the video a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.